Horrid Henry is one of the most hated children in the history of kids television. Henry is not only hated by his brother, his PE teacher, his babysitter, and his own parents, he's even hated by parents in real life who called for the banning of the show. How did he get so hated? They call him horrid, yes, but any horrid person normally has a horrid childhood. Let's explore the early years of Horrid Henry. This is Henry's horrid childhood. Do you ever feel like you don't matter? That other people have life's lead role, and that you have to make do with a walk-on part. Such is the life of Horrid Henry. Look at this, photographic proof that he's second choice within his own family. They say a picture says 1,000 words, but for me, this photo says just one: neglect. Given that there are 250 episodes of Horrid Henry, including 5 seasons and various specials, it's rather surprising that Henry's early years are something of a mystery. We have only a few photos of Henry and Peter as babies, and we have even fewer flashback clips. Using these breadcrumbs, let's join together the jigsaw pieces that comprise Henry's past, back before he became the lovable rogue that we watched every week on our television screens. Here's the thing. Henry wasn't always horrid. The opposite, in fact. Henry was the chosen one.
You were the chosen one!
As a tiny baby, Henry was happy and loved. He was totally content with the doting affection showered on him by his parents, fuming Francesca and silly Simon.
Oh, look at that, Henry.
However, very early on in Henry's life, something changed. Something big, something drastic, and something irreversible. Even by the time he was a toddler, Henry had lost control of his ability to make good choices. Consequently, his decision-making as a youngster had a profoundly negative impact on those around him. In one of these clips I discovered that show Henry as a baby, we can see him absolutely terrorizing a baby-faced perfect Peter. Peter cowers under the table in pure fear due to his older brother's dangerous behavior. Moody Margaret, who is only a toddler herself in this flashback clip, is another victim of Henry's wrath. It should go without saying that tying someone up to a tree and then stuffing their mouth with an apple is the behaviour of a damaged child. One that, honestly, requires either a strict course of medication or therapy. Perhaps both. It's one of those WTF moments that seemed totally normal at the time. But then actually, you look back on it and it's dark and it's sick and it's just plain twisted. Like, what am I looking at here? Seriously, this is abnormal behaviour from Henry, and some may argue that it puts new light on the strict parenting style that we see from fuming Francesca and silly Simon in future episodes. I would argue against this, personally, as starving your child is never acceptable, no matter how challenging you as a parent might find their behaviour.
Go to your room.
Can I have my questionnaire back?
No, go to your room now, Henry. What about tea? You can have tea in the morning. Now go.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Just by the way, as crazy as this sounds, I've actually seen some comments defending Henry's mum. Yes, it's happened again. Like this user who says, "It's just tea. She didn't say he couldn't have dinner." This just isn't true. She's literally denying Henry his evening meal. As this user correctly points out, tea is another word for dinner in parts of the UK. As a Brit, I can confirm this. Do Henry's family really look like the type of family who would have afternoon tea? No. For them, tea means dinner. Fuming Francesca sent her son to bed without any dinner. It's pretty clear cut. This fits in with the general theme of Francesca victimizing her eldest son. Like the time when she confiscated all of Henry's belongings because he, checks notes, spilled some paint.
That's all my stuff! Henry, we've taken all your things away because we want you to think about why you're being punished.
Tempting as it is to dive down the toxic parents rabbit hole, we need to stay on track. I mean, if you are interested in future videos about Henry's parents, then please smash subscribe. Because believe me, there's still so much to say about this unfortunate pairing. You've got the sociopathic head case that is fuming Francesca and the stoner, burned out loser that is silly Simon. Why is he so tired all the time, man?
So number 9 decided that he was going to teach teach number 6.
Back to Henry's early years. Let's dig deeper. What led Henry to behave this badly? What changed? How did he go from a baby, optimistic and carefree with his whole life ahead of him, to becoming a child that's just, honestly, completely depressing? Henry in the TV show is a negative cynic.
And generally realising that life doesn't always get better as you get bigger.
Indeed, Henry grows more and more resentful and miserable with each passing year. The question is, why? To answer this, let's apply Occam's razor. The simplest explanation is usually the correct one. When we put it in these black and white terms, it sure as hell looks like Henry got replaced. Replaced by a younger, newer, some would say more perfect, model. In the words of this user, since birth, Henry cried. While his sibling was quiet and angelic, Peter was a gift. Peter is treated far better than Henry throughout the show's 5-season run. It's disgusting how differently fuming Francesca treats her two sons. Even Francesca's tone towards Peter is totally different to how she talks to Henry. With Peter, it's loving, caring, fawning even.
I'm doing some extra number gnomes colour work.
Oh, well done, Peter.
How she behaves here is how a mother should act. Caring about their child, supporting their endeavours, giving positive praise where appropriate. Francesca has the potential to be like this. It's so frustrating that she chooses anger and she chooses hate. Why, Francesca? Why? Indeed, when she speaks to Henry, her tone will shift so entirely it's like another person has taken over her body. Fawning Francesca vanishes, to be replaced by our old friend, fuming Francesca.
Henry!
Don't be horrid, Henry.
Yes, don't be horrid, Henry.
Look at silly Simon sticking the boot in too. What an absolute stoner piece of... Even though Henry was a very young child, he must have realised the grim reality of this appalling favoritism pretty fast. In the following flashback clips, we see Henry trying to get rid of Peter in a variety of creative ways. First, he tries mailing him to another country. After this method failed, Henry makes another attempt, trying to remove his brother from the family by flying him away on a kite.
But every time I came up with a great plan, I got into trouble.
Whether these are real or, as is more likely, imagined scenarios is actually besides the point. Henry realised he was second choice and took the only action that was possible in order to return the family dynamic to the status quo. The status quo, by the way, within which he was valued and which he was loved. Yes, for Henry, the removal of Perfect Peter was an emotional necessity. Let us now explore further evidence, which signals the change within Henry, from Happy Henry to Horrid Henry. Let's take a look at Exhibit A.
You familiar with this peanut?
Yeah!
Look at the neglect on display here. Drink it in. And do you know what? The context makes it even worse. It literally just can't be overstated just how screwed up it is that Francesca would choose this particular photo to put in a photo album and preserve it forever. A photo album is not actually an accurate reflection of a family's history, nor is it supposed to be. Indeed, the uncomfortable, awkward parts of a family are supposed to be airbrushed from memory. In a normal family photo album, it's the smiling, aren't we all so happy together photos that usually remain. Having this understanding makes it even worse that this particular photo was chosen for immortalization. The photo, as we can clearly see, shows a broken family, with one member, a child no less, clearly set apart from the rest of the other members. And yet this particular horrifying image was chosen, cherry-picked even, by the curator. Oh my god! Do you see how bad this is? Horrid Henry's mum chose this photo because in her head it's an idealised version of her family. Peter front and centre, Henry relegated to the corner, a footnote in family history. Holy cow, this woman has some serious psychological issues. Now you wait there a damn minute. I've put sunglasses on, I'm doing a bit, just go with it. You're the one cherry picking the evidence, Snipe Snap. You have an agenda against Horrid Henry's parents, you're not a fair adjudicator, and lastly, you don't look at the evidence from both sides. One piece of evidence a case does not make. Wouldn't it be mental then? Wouldn't it be just properly mad, proper head case stuff, if there was even more evidence of fuming Francesca using photos to prove that she loves Peter more than she loves Henry, the photo on the fridge. Undeniable proof that Henry's parents glorify the ostracization of their eldest son. I deserve credit because I've even found new angles of this photo. I found new facial expressions too. Take a look at this one. We can see, for example, that Mum looks happy. Peter too beams with all the joy of a carefree childhood. Henry, conversely, wears a frown so droopy it would make Snoopy blush. I wonder who drew this. There's only two contenders, unless Fran and Cy are so depraved that they knock this damn thing together themselves. Surely that would be beyond even them. Realistically, the drawing was done by either Peter or Henry. When you think this through logically, both of these possibilities are immensely depressing. If Henry drew it, then it shows how he recognises that he is in a 3+1 family dynamic. Personally, however, I think Peter drew it. And it's this. The outstretched hand that does it for me. Peter is annoying, but he's a smart kid. The symbolism of the arm reaching out for his estranged older brother, who's been pushed so far away by his parents that he feels unable to return the gesture. Yep, Peter knew what he was doing, and it's so sad that a child can recognise the tragedy of his family dynamic, but his own mother and father can't. Who do you think drew this picture? Henry or Peter? Let me know in the comments. I'm interested if anyone has thought of something or noticed something I haven't. It does happen, occasionally. Gets worse, by the way. Believe me, there's more of this stuff and it gets so much worse. As an example, there's another photo in the kitchen which reflects the exact same family dynamic of that which we saw on the fridge. Look at it, drink it in. What do you see? I'll tell you. Mum, smiling. Peter, grinning. Henry, scowling. What is wrong with her? Why is she putting these photos on the wall? Is it that hard to do a nice family photo of everyone smiling? If only to give the impression, at least, that the family is normal. Think of the guests, Francesca. Think of the guests. Take a look at this, too. We have 3 love hearts that sit above this now infamous drawing of a happy, cozy looking home. Why are there 3 love hearts and not 4? There are 4 people, but there's only 3 love hearts. Did they leave Henry out again? What the The kitchen. Meh. You're exaggerating again, Snipe Snap. Yep, I'm doing the bit again, don't hate. Who cares about the damn kitchen? The living room is where it's at, bro. And I know for certain that old Fran and old Simon, they would never put unflattering photos of Henry up in the living room. Oh no, they've got way too much class for that, boy.
Yep, this one's going in my cringe collection.
Oh, really? Exhibit A, Henry pulling a silly face. Exhibit B, Henry pulling a devious face. Exhibit C, Peter playing the cello. I just can't with these people, I swear. Having a photo of Peter playing the cello is a super interesting choice, by the way. Because remember, Henry is a violin virtuoso. Not that his parents ever gave a damn. Why is Peter praised for doing the same thing for which Henry is ignored? The answer is simple. What Henry does just isn't seen as noteworthy. Remember, Henry is considered so unimportant that his parents don't even notice when they leave him at home.
What's the matter?
It's Henry. He's disappeared.
What?
I think we might have left Henry behind.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
They still blame him for the traffic jam, though.
Ugh, I can't believe we're in this traffic jam now. This is all your fault, Henry. Did you hear me, Henry?
Bloody stoner Simon. Even Henry knows something is wrong, but as a young child, he can find it a challenge to know the right words to express himself.
My life is so bad. It's bad.
How can that make no sense but so much sense at the same time? You can see the change in Henry's character reflected in his choice of outfits seen in the photo album. He goes from being a joyful and appreciative baby to a resentful and angry child. Whilst as an infant he wears nice, age-appropriate costumes, he begins to present himself as a villain as he grows older. He dresses as a vampire in addition to putting on a pirate outfit. I know this might seem like nothing, but remember, everything you see is a choice from the writers. The writers always know exactly what they're doing. They're well-educated people, they're smart people. Nothing they do is ever by accident. For whatever reason, someone at Horrid Henry HQ wanted to portray Henry as a lonely, neglected outcast. And once you see the show through this prism, it's impossible to unsee. I guess we can see through the Horrid Henry matrix now, snipe snappers. Despite this, it's not all doom and gloom. There are some unbelievably positive, uplifting episodes of Horrid Henry, like Horrid Henry in the go-kart. There's some proper father-son bonding going on, and it's super cool to see.
Mum says dinner's ready.
Tell her we're not coming in till it's finished.
Henry's friendship with Ralph is uplifting too. By the end of the series, the two boys are practically brothers in arms.
Really? You do that for me, Henry?
What are friends for, Ralph?
Cool! Thanks, Henry. Trust me, Ralph.
Henry even has his positive moments with moody Margaret. At least Henry's friends do genuinely seem to like him. It does give him that positive outlet outside of the family unit, which, by God, he needs.
What? Just wanted to say, thanks and all that.
Ooh, maybe there's hope for him yet.
There's this whacked out comment that this user keeps leaving on my Horrid Henry videos. It's kinda mental, but it's strangely poetic and also based. It's been haunting my dreams. Now it can haunt yours, too. If horrid is forever, then perfect must be a lie. If adults and parents' favourite offspring in this toxic town can say or do whatever and remain the apple of their eye, the truth is in shades of grey. When they don't do as you say, when you make the unwanted children suffer over and over just to punish them for simply drawing breath again and again. That first line, wow. If horrid is forever, then perfect must be a lie. It's the most perfect summary of the show I've ever read. Horrid is forever. Henry's been tagged as horrid, and no matter what he does, he gets blamed. Even if he changed, it wouldn't be enough. We've seen this in the show before, when Henry gets blamed for Peter's horridness.
It was Peter's fault! He sprayed me!
Don't tell lies, Henry.
It's true. I sprayed him.
Well, Henry, you should have got out of the way when Peter was watering the flowers.
And that next line, then perfect must be a lie. You just can't be perfect all the time. I've wasted enough of my life trying to, Peter, so I get you, mate. I understand how much you want it, but trust me, it just ain't possible. As this user puts it, Peter is abused in a different kind of way. His parents hold him on a pedestal, so to speak. He's the golden child of the family, and as such, always feels a responsibility to be perfect and please everyone. This will have a negative impact on his future. Hell, there's signs of the damage already. Whenever he's done something wrong, he breaks down thinking his mother will leave. And he's only a child. Imagine what impact it'll have on him when he's an adult. This next user actually imagines what would happen to Henry and Peter when they grow up. And man, brace yourself, it gets super dark. I see perfect Peter taking in his parents, especially his mum as an adult. They're pretty much going to be a thorn in both of their sons' sides. If Henry has kids, he's probably going to feel pressured into getting his kids to meet his parents. His parents will just likely turn Henry's kid against him because, yeah, that's the type of toxic grandparents they'll be. Perfect Peter will just leave the room while Henry and his parents go at it like Gumball's mum, Nicole from The Amazing World of Gumball did with her own parents. And Peter will just be there to tell Henry to leave, while comforting the brother's bratty, insufferable parents. This show is a psychological hellscape. I honestly never meant to go this deep with the show when I made that first video 6 months ago, but the more you watch this show, the more horrifying it gets. Remember those innocent days from when we were younger? When we'd come home from school, put the TV on, a little bit of Horrid Henry on CITV, and just chill, and you think, yeah, of course Henry's the horrid one. The show's called Horrid Henry, for goodness sake. Of course he's bad, of course his parents are good. Well, those days, they're over. We've seen the truth. There's no way back. We're in too deep now, Snipe Snappers. In the words of Macbeth, I am in blood, stepped in so far that, should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go. So maybe Henry isn't so horrid after all. Maybe he's a victim of poor parenting and neglect. Silly Simon is bad, but Henry's mum in particular is just really a nasty piece of work. Let's explore now the most cruel, ridiculous thing that fuming Francesca has ever done to Henry. This is Horrid Henry's mum should rot in hell. Have you ever been in trouble for swearing? Probably, yes. But have you ever been in trouble for greeting somebody? Horrid Henry has. Here's a clip.
Morning, Henry.
Morning! Don't be horrid, Henry.
Wow. Being reprimanded for saying good morning. Henry's mum, you are evil incarnate. No wonder this amazing artist thinks that future Henry will send mum to the worst retirement home in history. This user writes, after years of abuse, he felt he had no choice. This good morning scene is horrible on first watch, but when you break it down, it gets even worse. Here's the opening shot. It all looks quite normal. Henry's hungry, ready for some sweet tweets. Peter's already tucking in. Mum's busy putting something in her handbag. But don't be fooled by the facade of normality. All is not as it seems. Let's watch a little more. Wait a minute. Let's zoom in on Henry because something ain't right. He's not excited for brekkie anymore. He's scowling. Perhaps he's noticed the picture on the fridge that shows him isolated within the family unit. Perhaps he's upset at being totally ignored by his mum. She must have heard him come into the room. Maybe the whole atmosphere in the household is so oppressive and toxic that it just gets him down. Let's continue.
Morning, Henry.
Morning! Don't be horrid, Henry.
This woman is a demon. No other word for her. Demon. Imagine how bad this makes poor Henry feel. He must just think, what's the point? If he can't even greet his brother in a polite and cheerful way without being told off, then he must feel he can't do anything right. His self-esteem and sense of self-worth must be in the gutter. Hit like if you think that Henry deserves better parents. Look at the pain and anguish on Henry's face. He's only been in the room for mere seconds. His own mother has reduced him to despair. Perhaps when grown-up Henry drops his mum off at the retirement home with its window view of garbage, he'll say, this isn't an old folks' home. This is your own personal hell. Henry also feels total despair when he's dumped at a summer camp. This view of Henry in the rearview mirror is how Henry's mum sees her son after she's abandoned him. Yet, Henry's mum shows no sympathy for her son in such a vulnerable situation. Her response is simply appalling.
3 whole days without Henry.
So, she doesn't say 3 weeks without Peter and Henry, it's just 3 weeks without Henry is what she's looking forward to. Indefensible for any mother. To begin with, Henry is excited to go to camp.
Oh, come on, Henry. There'll be lots to do. Fun and games every day.
I'm sorry, look at Peter's hair. Talk about a broccoli head. Peter was clearly a Zoomer before Zoomers were even a thing. What do you think, Markiplier?
It's hideous, but beautiful in an ugly way, but mostly hideous.
And so the family set off for camp, with Silly Simon feeling particularly optimistic.
Camp Sunshine. Doesn't it look great?
You know the expression, happy campers? I can't see a single smile. Henry notices this too. He's a smart kid, and he realizes, wow, I need to get out of here ASAP.
Follow me!
Not me. I'm going home.
We know the line that's going to come next. Take it away, fuming Francesca.
3 whole days without Henry.
Don't you even think about letting Silly Simon off the hook. He chips in too.
Bliss.
Bliss. Silly Simon describes it as bliss to be spending time away from his son. I mean, Why even have a son if you clearly hate him that much? This user imagines what Henry's mum would say to a grown-up Henry, writing, "You were born horrid, that's your birthright. And now you can fill your life with your projects, your songs and your concerts, and your little girlfriends, but it won't make you whole. You're horrid Henry, and there's no cure for that." Henry's parents really have a thing about denying him food. To my mind, if you deny a child food and they go to bed hungry, you should really be looking at some time in prison. Let's explore this in my video, Horrid Henry's mum belongs in jail. Did you ever have your breakfast stolen from you? Was this stolen breakfast then given to your dad?
Thanks. I love these sweet tweets.
If this ever happened to you, chances are that you grew up in an abusive household. As ever with Henry's family, the context doesn't make his parents look any better. In fact, they end up just looking far, far worse. The build up to this moment of abuse actually started the previous morning. What looks like a normal scene is actually very abnormal indeed.
Morning, Henry.
Finishing off your homework, honey bun?
Oh no, I did all my homework last night.
Sorry, that was immature. Let's continue.
I'm doing some extra number gnomes colour work.
Oh, well done, Peter.
Henry!
Horrid Henry is hungry. He wants some breakfast cereal, and so he decides to take it. He does, by any available metric, absolutely nothing wrong. Why is Peter even upset here? I genuinely don't know. Help me out, guys, please. Let me know in the comments. Why is Peter mad?
Don't be horrid, Henry.
Yes, don't be horrid, Henry.
Look at how sad Henry looks. He's probably confused too, seeing as he's getting in trouble for literally nothing.
What? Oh, just getting a cereal.
Well, you can just get the cereal more carefully, can't you?
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally can't. But I've considered it.
You're right, Markiplier, as always. Imagine being this angry over your own son who's just tried to eat his breakfast. No wonder many people believe that the parents are heading for a dirt cheap retirement home once they get old. As this user puts it, I'd imagine when Henry drops his witch of a mother at the retirement home, he made peace with Simon, who is obviously browbeaten by the mum, before he passed, and is getting Peter through therapy. Henry got a decent paying job and is married to Margaret. Despite everything, he doesn't hate his mother. He has absolutely every right to hate her, though. You're a better man than me, Horrid Henry. You're a better man than me.
I suppose.
Henry!
Right, that's it, Henry. Go and brush your teeth.
Look at Perfect Peter's smile. The master manipulator at it again. As for silly Simon, he's not going to start tucking into those sweet tweets, is he?
But I've brushed my teeth already.
Well, go and do something useful then.
He's actually eating it? The greedy bugger! It's bad enough to steal your son's breakfast, but to actually eat it? Call CPS now. Smash subscribe if you think Henry's parents should lose custody of the young hero.
Okay. I've been meaning to sort out my snot slimers for a while. I guess now will be a good time to do it.
Poor Henry, he's still going out with a smile. It's a perfectly reasonable suggestion too. I mean, normal children like slime. For normal parents, therefore, this suggestion wouldn't even be considered a problem. For fuming Francesca and silly Simon, however...
Henry!
This next user imagines Henry ranting to Margaret when they're grown up as adults. And you better buckle up, it gets pretty damn emotional. Margaret, I need you to tell me that it's not too late. I need you to tell me that I'm a good person. I know that I can be selfish and narcissistic and self-destructive, but underneath all that, deep down, I'm a good person, and I need you to tell me that I'm good. Margaret, tell me please. Margaret, tell me that I'm good. Remember guys, we haven't even got to the parents stealing Henry's breakfast bit yet. That's still to come. Because of Henry's perceived terrible behaviour the day before, the parents decide to stick tape down the middle of the table to separate the vile Henry from his angel of a younger brother. It's 7 in the morning and Henry already looks sick of Peter's
No, no, no.
Second consecutive day of Henry being denied breakfast, by the way. If Henry was an actual child and not a cartoon, he might genuinely starve to death.
Henry? What do you think you're doing?
Just looking for the cereal.
It's already on the table, Henry.
Yes, but he's not allowed to eat it due to your ridiculous rules, you turtleneck-wearing tit. Smash like if you think Silly Simon is a turtlenecked tit. Oh great, Fuming Francesca's here. She's gonna make everything better, I'm sure. She'll be the voice of reason and the hammer of justice. Called it! And you thought I was being sarcastic. She's pouring out cereal for her son. She's learned from the error of her ways and she's decided to be a better mum. I've prayed for this day. Fuming Francesca is dead. Long live Fair Francesca!
Thanks. I love these sweet tweets.
You are starving your child, you disgusting, evil cretins. You deserve jail forever. Throw away the key, don't pass go. Never trust a turtleneck, oh, when will I learn?
So do I.
I'm not even bothering to get my hopes up this time. I don't know why you're smiling, Henry. She's gonna screw you over. It's in her DNA, as this user comments. Honestly, Henry's parents seem like the type of parents to say something like, kids are like pancakes. The first one always comes out messed up. I'm the eldest child myself, and now I feel like a pancake. A messed up, disgusting pancake. Oh my god, look at Silly Simon's face. What a loser. Bet he blames Henry.
Henry!
Oops, sorry, Dad.
2 for 2. And this is gaslighting, by the way, on previously unseen levels. All the crap they've put Henry through, and he's the one to apologise? Seriously?
Come on, boys, I'll drop you off.
I don't know what's got into you, Henry.
Henry's just resigned to it at this point. He's given up.
I'm ready, Mom.
Come on, Henry, you can help me find my car keys.
I ask you, is this fair?
It's not fair, Henry. None of this is fair. It's so unfair that this person writes, I think Henry isn't looking for trouble, but might be looking for revenge. This user is a little bit more optimistic, writing, I swear, we need a fan comic where Henry is a successful rock star after he is an adult and no longer takes any crap from his parents. I'd read that. I'd absolutely read that. Someone out there, get on it and send me the link. If you thought Henry's mum was bad in this video, well, what I'm going to show you next is far, far worse. Henry's mum actually abuses Henry's rights as a human being. It's human rights abuse, plain and simple. You'll see this now in my video, Horrid Henry's mum starved her son. What I'm about to show you is, by far, the worst thing I have ever seen Horrid Henry's mum do. It is so shocking that I cannot believe it was even aired on children's television. It literally violates Henry's human rights, according to the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. Here's the full clip.
Done for.
What are you talking about, Mum?
Never mind, Henry. Go to your room.
Can I have my questionnaire back?
No, go to your room now, Henry. What about tea? You can have tea in the morning. Now go.
I give up.
As this user comments, you can have tea in the morning? That's starving your child right there. For context, when Mum banishes him to his room without any food, Henry has just come home from a long day at school. As this user points out, you can eat in the morning. Need I remind you that it's literally noon when she said that? This implies that she wants to starve him for the next 12 hours. Literally, whatever Henry had done, however horrid, nothing would have justified this particular punishment. However, in the context of this episode, Henry has literally done nothing wrong. He gets sent to his room as a result of asking for his own questionnaire to be returned to him by his own mother. The head teacher at Henry's school, a woman called Miss Oddbod, had said to Henry that he would be punished for not completing this questionnaire, which in turn makes it a perfectly valid request.
Don't forget your questionnaire.
I forgot to fill it in. Miss Oddbod's gonna kill.
This user hits the nail on the head, writing, Henry's mum always tells him off for nothing, as if he has zero rights on this planet. Smash that subscribe button if you agree that Henry's mum acts like he has no human rights. Throughout this episode, Henry is either denied food or given food that is inappropriate for a child. He is given mushroom sandwiches that he just hates.
Mushroom sandwiches. Yum, yum.
Off you go, Henry. It's Friday today.
He is given lettuce sandwiches that sound disgusting and that he hates. He hates them even more, in fact, than carrot sandwiches.
So, how was your day, Henry?
Not good. Lettuce sandwiches are even worse than carrot sandwiches.
He is given beetroot sandwiches that he cannot even eat, as he hates them so much. Not, however, not that his mother gives a damn.
So, how was your day at school today, Henry?
I pretended to eat the beetroot sandwiches, just like you told me to.
Good. Any homework?
I mean, no wonder fans have turned against Henry's mum. I call her Fuming Francesca, as we still have never found out her real name. Here are some names that Horrid Henry fans have come up with. Annoying Anna, Selfish Sasha, Torturous Tina, Egomaniac Emily, Emotionally Abusive Edna, Crazy Karen, Unfair Ursula, Nagging Nancy. Why not comment below with what you think is Henry's mum's real name? I've actually come up with another name. Human rights abuser Harriet. Just rolls off the tongue, that, doesn't it? It may not be a snappy name, but it is accurate because Henry's mum's actions literally violate international law. According to the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, children have a specific right to adequate nutrition, which is outlined in Article 24. This article states that children have the right to the highest attainable standard of health, which includes the right to nutritious food and clean drinking water. Remember, this is a mother that's prepared to send her son to bed knowing full well that he's hungry. Do you really think that she'll be bothered to provide him with clean drinking water? It's unlikely, to say the least. Some may say that, given his precarious situation, Henry should reach out to his school for help. Indeed, this does seem to be a safeguarding concern. However, knowing Henry's school, I'm not sure if this would have been particularly helpful. Henry took a packed lunch to school in another episode. It got stolen by the dinner lady.
Hey, that's mine! Not anymore. It's confiscated. You ate my muffin. Yes, I did.
Greasy Greta just can't help herself, can she? On a serious note though, this clip shows that the school can be the problem rather than the solution. It symbolises how these institutions will often fail to reach the people that need them the most, especially young people such as children. The impact that this food insecurity will have on Henry is devastating. According to a study, children from food insecure households demonstrated 90% greater odds of being in poor health, were more likely to have been hospitalised, and showed significantly higher instances of being at developmental risk compared to their peers from food-secure households. The emotional and behavioural implications included increased anxiety and aggression, with a noted impact on their ability to form healthy social relationships and maintain attention in educational settings. That last point feels particularly important. Maybe Henry can't focus at school because he's so hungry all the time. Henry even seems to realise that he's malnourished.
Boys cannot survive on carrot sandwiches alone, especially when you don't eat.
Giving Henry food that he hates so much that he can't even eat it will, in all likelihood, have a long and a devastating impact on Henry. This, by the way, this is regardless of whether his mother will feed him properly in the future. The damage is being done right here, right now. We know this because, as it states in the study, even if children are not hungry, a level of anxiety about where their next meal is coming from does seem to adversely impact child development. This isn't the only instance of Henry being denied food, either. Earlier in this very episode, Henry is told that he will not receive any food at all unless he obeys his mother.
I'm hungry. What's for tea, Mum?
Nothing unless you pick up your bag and go and do your homework. But no buts, Henry.
As this user points out, does anybody notice that sometimes, if he does something bad or does something to his brother, she says, "You can have your dinner in the morning"? You're really not supposed to starve your children. So far, we've quite rightly had a lot of focus on Henry's mum. She is the chief antagonist, and her positive moments are few and far between. Silly Simon, Henry's dad, has gotten away with it so far, pretty much. That ends now. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy my longest ever video, the total insanity of Horrid Henry's dad, aka silly, schizophrenic Simon. Grab yourself a cup of tea, get cozy down by the fireplace with your Labrador curled up by your feet. This one's gonna get deep. When you were a child, did your dad ever tell you off for something totally unreasonable? Like the existence of a traffic jam? Because that's a totally normal way to treat your 8-year-old son.
Ugh, I can't believe we're in this traffic jam now. This is all your fault, Henry. Did you hear me, Henry?
Henry, listen to your father.
Do you want to know the really funny thing? Well, Henry wasn't even in the car.
What's the matter?
It's Henry. He's disappeared.
What?
I think we might have left Henry behind.
Yes, they'd left him at home. Kevin McAllister out of Home Alone style.
I can't believe we did that. We left him behind. We are such bad parents.
Did your dad ever publicly shame you for the heinous crime of acting like a totally normal 8-year-old boy?
Henry, you come out of that toilet now, or I'll give all your toys away, and you won't have any pocket money until you're 94 and a half!
Okay, Dad.
You know that things are bad when even a random member of the public rebukes you because you're bullying your own flesh and blood. If any of these things ever happen to you, then you are the victim of abuse.
Stop. 2 things. Number 1, you already did the exact same thing for Horrid Henry's mum. Have some originality, dude. Are you really going to James Somerton your own video? Number 2, watch this next clip. Does this really look like an abusive father to you?
Can't you fix it, Dad?
I don't think so.
No more races. The end of an era.
Or the beginning of another.
What do you mean?
A new go-kart. Bigger, better, faster, stronger.
Really?
The fastest go-kart the world has ever seen.
Yes!
But first, we've got to make it.
It looks like this is going to require some deeper analysis, and well, you've seen the runtime, you know what's coming. Why is a cartoon dad in a popular British kids TV show so similar to Harvey Dent out of Batman? The Horrid Henry writers have created a man who's capable of outright bullying one episode and then being Dad of the Year in the next one. Who do we blame for Horrid Henry's dad? Because he's a character that exists seemingly without a head or a tail. Who's even responsible for writing the whole Horrid Henry television series anyway? It's bizarre that the creator of Horrid Henry didn't contribute at all to the Horrid Henry television series. Well, I'm 100% certain that, at the very least, Francesca Simon, as the creator of the Horrid Henry character, must have made an absolute ton of money from the Horrid Henry TV series, the Horrid Henry movie, and the Horrid Henry video games in royalties. Wouldn't it be absolutely crazy if she hadn't made a penny in royalties from any of them?
Foreshadowing is a literary device.
H-Bomber Guy's right. More on the money situation coming later in the video.
Part 1. Meet Silly Simon.
Meet Horrid Henry's dad, aka Silly Simon.
Doesn't bother me. Silly Simon.
Ugh, I hate it when he calls me that.
Silly Simon?
He's the wife of, wait, what's her name again? Right, we still don't know.
That carrot casserole was amazing, Henry and Peter's mom.
For the purpose of this video, let's go with fuming Francesca, because Francesca, the mum, and Simon, the dad, spell out the creator's name, Francesca Simon. It works, right? Henry's mum is voiced by Tasmin Heatley, and Henry's dad is voiced by Wayne Forrester. Here they are together saying, well, you can probably guess what they're going to say.
Don't be horrid, Henry!
Silly Simon is 6 feet tall and wears a blue jacket with an orange turtleneck jumper underneath. He looks perfectly normal, but he's totally insane. Like, loco. This man is the Jekyll and Hyde of the Horrid Henry universe. Do not let his turtleneck fool you. God knows it fooled me.
Part 2. The Cult of Silly Simon.
Silly Simon is regarded in a surprisingly positive manner by Horrid Henry fans. You can tell this happened when reading comments on a debate that happened on the Horrid Henry subreddit. Yes, there's a Horrid Henry subreddit. Deal with it. A user asked, "Who is the worst Horrid Henry parent and why?" Immediately, many fans leapt to the dad's defense, condemning Mum in the process. This user said, "He is the more likable of the parents as he is nicer and more reasonable than his wife." Another user said, "The dad didn't seem malicious when telling Henry off, in my opinion. He never meant to hurt Henry or upset him, unlike Henry's mother." This user concludes by asking, "Who else thinks dad should divorce Mum and take full custody of Henry and Peter?" I mean, I've certainly heard worse ideas. Given the clips we explored together at the beginning of the video, clips which don't exactly cover Silly Simon in parenting glory, perhaps it's surprising that the Horrid Henry fandom likes the dad quite so much. On analysis, it seems that there are two reasons for Silly Simon's popularity. The first one is obvious. Compared to the mum, the dad is, at least, somewhat decent towards Henry. As this user points out, the mum played favourites and it was obviously Peter. Henry seemed to like his dad more than the mum because the dad gave him fairer punishments for what he did. Just as an aside, how damn tragic is that Henry prefers his dad for the sole reason that he punishes him fairly. He still punishes him, just in a fair way, and that alone is enough to win Henry's affection. It's just awful. I mean, talk about a toxic household. In comparison to a mother that literally celebrates when a clown jokes that he'll make her own son disappear, then yes, I too will concede that the dad does seem somewhat reasonable.
Not until the show is over.
How clever you are, Henry. How would you like to be my assistant? What? For the Box of Bewilderment! I shall now attempt to make this clever little boy disappear.
Bravo! Bravo! Oh, lovely.
You know you've gone way too far when even moody Margaret is horrified by your lousy parenting. This happened at Henry's birthday party, by the way. Happy birthday, mate. The second reason for Silly Simon's popularity is slightly stranger. Lots of Horrid Henry fans seem to have developed somewhat of a crush on Silly Simon. This fan laments that nobody talks about how attractive he is enough. I can't find a single fanfic of him, no fan art, and hardly any edits. The user then decided to take matters into their own hands, posting a plethora of drawings of Simon, which are amongst the most upvoted posts in the history of the Horrid Henry subreddit. Whilst one user stated, "You're getting bullied in these comments, but I get you," another was shocked, stating, "You need urgent mental help." Don't we all? I'm going to park this element of the Silly Simon character here. He's a cartoon, for crying out loud, and a poorly animated one at that. If you want to explore the Silly Simon fandom, you'll have to do it yourself. Try the Horrid Henry subreddit. It's a weird part of the internet, and I wish you luck. Trust me, you'll need it.
Part 3 is Dr. Jekyll.
Silly Simon does have his moments of awesome parenting, sure. Indeed, the main difference between Henry's mum and dad is that the dad does, in some episodes at least, show that he loves Henry. The episode Horrid Henry Eats Out is a great example of this. Silly Simon is exasperated. His son will not go out to eat a family dinner at a fancy restaurant, no matter what he says to him.
Fancy restaurant? No way! Not me!
Henry lives up to his Horrid Henry moniker, love that word, and decides to flush the car keys down the toilet so that they cannot travel to the restaurant.
Henry!
He's got the car keys again.
Henry, I'm coming in there.
The mum has given up. Her horrid son is being horrid again. What can be done about it? But Silly Simon's reaction surprised me, in a good way. Rather than give up, like fuming Francesca, or physically hurt Henry, like rabid Rebecca would, Henry's dad chooses the carrot rather than the stick. He offers to pay Henry £2 if he not only goes to the restaurant, but also manages to eat every single item of food on his plate.
I'm not going! That's that!
All right, Henry, here's the deal. You come along, behave yourself, and eat everything on your plate, and I'll give you £2.
£2? Just for shoving a few mouthfuls of disgusting food in my mouth. Normally I have to do that for free.
Henry readily agrees, naturally pushing the boundary in the process.
How about £3.
Don't push it, Henry.
Okay.
The usual chaos and Henry trickery occurs at the restaurants, but Henry's dad does honour his verbal contract, giving Henry his well-deserved £2.
But you said I have to finish everything on my plate.
Here's your £2, Henry. Now, let's go and find some real food.
This is actually good parenting. Silly Simon proves to his son that he will keep his word, building his son's trust in the process. Trustworthiness is a key element of being a good parent, according to parenting.org, which states that being trustworthy fosters strong and lasting relationships. Henry's dad also deserves credit for helping him to build a go-kart. In the episode Horrid Henry and the Go-Kart, Henry's dad truly goes above and beyond to help his son. There are multiple instances of the pair bonding together, and honestly, knowing what Henry goes through with his abusive mum, with his strict teacher, with his insane babysitter, and with his tattletale brother, it is quite touching to see Henry having a good time for once.
And supersonic mega blasters.
Yeah, supersonic mega blasters.
Cool. We need this.
I actually think that the contrast between how Henry's dad behaves in this episode compared to how Margaret's dad behaves in this episode says everything. Moody Margaret's dad is largely absent, referred to only when he purchases a brand new go-kart for his daughter.
I'm definitely going to win now.
Of course you are, my little pumpkin pop.
You bought that from a shop. That's cheating. No, it isn't. You're just jealous. My go-kart has its own engine, power steering, electric windows, glove compartment, heated seats.
Henry's dad, on the other hand, works tirelessly, even forgoing dinner to spend time with his son and to make sure that he helps his son build the greatest go-kart that he can.
Mum says dinner's ready.
Tell her we're not coming in till it's finished.
Ooh.
Margaret may gloat that she has the fancier, more expensive go-kart. But Henry's the real winner. He gets to spend quality time with his old man, which is so important in the life of any young boy.
Didn't I won? With a little help from my friends.
The winners!
Perhaps Henry's dad treats him kindly because Henry reminds Simon of himself. In the episode Horrid Henry and the Silly Siblings, we see the passive-aggressive competition between Silly Simon and his younger brother, Fussy Francis.
After you, Francis.
Oh no, after you.
No, I said after you.
I'll go first, shall I?
The colour scheme and hairstyles, blonde and curly for Peter and Francis, versus brown and wavy for Henry and Simon, even implies that Simon is the Henry of the relationship. Henry's dad even picked up the nickname Silly Simon from his brother, Fussy Francis.
Doesn't bother me. Silly Simon.
Perhaps it is these clear parallels between Horrid Henry and Silly Simon that lead to Henry's dad being more sympathetic towards his son. As this user notes, Henry's behaviour reminds him of his younger self. It gives him someone to relate to, since they share the same interests, as well as a similar personality.
Part 4, and he's Mr. Hyde.
Conversely, throughout the seasons, Silly Simon still treats Henry in the same abusive way as Henry's mum. Like this time when Peter is so clearly in the wrong, and yet Henry's dad still somehow manages to twist reality, distort the truth, and find a way to blame his eldest son.
Henry!
It was Peter's fault. He sprayed me.
Don't tell lies, Henry.
It's true. I sprayed him.
Well, Henry, you should have got out of the way when Peter was watering the flowers.
What's the big idea?
I don't care that this is a kids' TV show. This kind of injustice makes me angry. In the immortal words of Horrid Henry, it's just not fair. This next clip will make you even angrier. It's fuming Francesca, our old friend, pouring salt onto this already gapingly unfair wound.
Henry, you're filthy. I can't have Great Aunt Greta seeing you like that. Bath, now. But now!
The Dark Side of Horrid Henry's Mum, Part 2, coming soon, folks. Hit subscribe to keep an eye out for that, because with the way that Henry's mum treats her eldest son, it really could be a 10-part series. Silly Simon also does not cover himself in glory when he decides to publicly lambast Henry with a wild rant in which he calls Henry stupid.
Henry, where are you?
I'm locked in, Dad!
Really? Let me give it a try. It's no use. It won't open.
Why don't you go on without me? You can pick me up on the way back.
Don't be so stupid, Henry. Come out of there.
And then threatens to never give him pocket money again. We saw this clip at the beginning of the video, but it does require some further analysis.
Henry, you come out of that toilet now, or I'll give all your toys away, and you won't have any pocket money until you're 94 and a half.
It's normal for parents to get angry with their children, but this rant does seem particularly mean-spirited from Henry's father. The reaction from the random member of the public is also quite interesting. In a way, it's sort of like Henry's home life has been put on display, a tiny snippet of it, at least, to the general public. They can instantly tell that something is not quite right. Because, in reality, a good dad should never be speaking to their child in such a manner. These isolated incidents are bad, but a Silly Simon defender could argue that parents are human beings too, and all parents will inevitably get angry at their children sometimes. Even with the best will in the world, as a parent, your beloved child will frustrate you on occasions, and you will lash out in ways that you regret. That's called life. These examples alone, a Silly Simon fan will argue, do not make him a bad father. To those people I say, watch what's going to come next. It gets much, much worse.
Part 5. He's an enabler.
An abusive home environment, according to the academics Bank and Burriston, is characterised by child maltreatment, neglectful supervision, and sibling conflict. Unfortunately, although we have seen that Simon is capable of treating Henry with compassion, he is contributing to an environment in which he is being abused. Silly Simon defenders, please answer the following questions. Why on earth does Henry's dad hire Rabid Rebecca as a babysitter despite being fully aware of her reputation for physical abuse? Why does he then rehire her in later episodes despite witnessing this very incident?
Coming ready or not! Right, you little worm, I'm going to take you apart limb by limb!
Henry?
Why does Silly Simon not intervene when his own wife locks Henry into his bedroom and then confiscates every single one of his belongings?
What? That's all my stuff!
Henry, we've taken all your things away.
As this user puts it, the problem with Henry's dad is that he's an enabler. He stays silent when Henry's mum abused him, and that's what makes him a bad parent. Yes, his personal behaviour improved towards Henry, but he still doesn't protect him. Silly Simon has also shown himself to be embarrassed to be Henry's dad. Parent-teacher conferences, or parents' evenings, should be a time of honest reflection, a time of positivity, where the parents of the child come to meet with the child's teacher to discuss progress, achievements, and of course, steps for improvement. Henry's dad doesn't seem to see it that way. He goes along to meet Henry's teachers with the sole intention of pretending that Henry is not actually his child. It's so bizarre. He only wants to talk about Peter.
Alors, Henri.
Do you mean Peter, Madame Tutu?
Non, I mean Henri.
I'm actually glad that Henry is not attending the parents-teacher conference to experience this, as this would be incredibly upsetting for a child to witness.
I mean Henri.
Oh, right, because we're here to talk about...
Henri, that's right. Henri le Terrible.
Well, usually we call him Horrid, but...
Horrid, Terrible, Awful, who cares?
Yes, who cares?
We need to talk about Henri.
All right then, if you insist.
More supportive parents would probably feel the need to defend their child if they were having a character assassination from their teacher, as it probably means that the learning methods of the teacher are not connecting with their child. To put sole blame on the child is not a very professional way to act from the teacher. I believe that Henry's parents, and especially his dad, who, according to Reddit, is meant to be the better parent, they should actually be defending Henry in this scenario. You know, Henry's just a child. He's not the demon his parents would have you believe.
Part 6. The impossible expectations of Henry's parents.
The ideal behaviour that silly Simon and fuming Francesca want both of their children to aspire to is not actually the way that a happy, healthy child should be acting. In the episode Horrid Henry, Horrid Boy, Henry is required by his school to fill out a questionnaire to find out his daily routines. Fearful of Henry's responses, Mum decides to take matters into her own hands and complete the questionnaire on Henry's behalf. That's not suspicious at all, is it?
Oh, and I've got this stupid questionnaire to fill in.
Questionnaire? What questionnaire?
Well, we're having this
Observation, Henry. The word is observation. Now go on.
And we've got to fill in a questionnaire about all the things we like doing at home.
Give it to me, Henry.
Well, they said we've got to fill it in all by ourselves.
I said, give it to me, Henry.
In the process, Mum sends Henry to bed without any dinner so that she can fraudulently fill in her son's form with false information in peace and quiet.
Mum?
Never mind, Henry. Go to your room.
Can I have my questionnaire back?
No! Go to your room now, Henry.
What about tea?
You can have tea in the morning. Now go!
The information that the mum uses in the form says that Henry only eats vegetable sandwiches, loves cross-country running, and doesn't eat sweets. Moreover, Henry is a total Luddite.
Phew.
Did we get away with it?
I think so.
So, how much TV did you say Henry watched in a week?
None, of course.
Hours on the computer?
None. He does all his homework every night, even when he gets double.
These lies are totally supported by silly Simon. He knows that what they're doing is underhand and actually frankly disgusting, but he chooses to go along with it anyway.
I've got a letter for you from school.
For us?
To Henry's mum and dad, we have been observing Henry all week and we are seriously worried about him.
Oh no! They found out how horrid he is after all.
He doesn't watch TV or play computer games. He only eats strange vegetable sandwiches. He has never eaten a sweet in his life, and he does all his homework even when he's given double.
But that's good, isn't it?
Apparently not.
The problem for Henry's parents is that no child behaves in the way that they want Henry to. The teachers at Henry's school realise this. When they see the responses to Henry's survey, the responses which, although untrue, are the type of things that Henry's parents think a boy of his age should be doing, they are horrified. The school write a letter to Henry's parents. They explain that...
But that's good, isn't it?
Apparently not. All these things are really not normal for a boy of his age. So we would like to recommend that you attend a course to learn how to be better parents straight away.
This is why they're sent on a parenting course. Not for the way that they actually abuse Henry, but for the form they filled in that describes how they think Henry should be acting. Ironically, the way that Henry acts is actually totally normal for a boy of his age, so if they had just let Henry fill in the form by himself, there would have literally been no problems at all. 8-year-old boys are not angels, and frankly, it would be weird if they were. On a milestone for 8-year-old child's list, children of this age are described as having quickly changing emotions. Angry outbursts are common. Many children are critical of others, especially of their parents. They may seem dramatic and sometimes rude. Indeed, even if Henry did meet his parents' expectations, chances are he would still be desperately unhappy.
Part 7. Nobody's perfect. Not even Peter.
We know that meeting parental expectations does not lead to happiness because of the existence of perfect Peter. Peter does more than any child possibly could in order to meet the expectations of his parents. And yet, it does not make him happy. Instead, it actually causes anxiety for him, as the expectations set by his parents are completely unrealistic for a 6-year-old boy to meet. You can even see that facade slip away the very second he thinks he is not meeting his parents' expectations. The time that Peter accidentally smashes a vase and subsequently thinks that he'll be disowned is a prime example of that.
Come on, Worm. It's not the end of the world.
Oh, but it is. Mum will be so cross with me, she'll never speak to me again. She'll banish me from the house, never to darken her door again.
Peter is the victim of golden child syndrome, when a child is raised to be perfect, pleasing, and superior by narcissistic parents. Golden child syndrome fascinates me, so let me know in the comments if that's something you would be interested in me doing a video on in the future. When you mold your character to fit exactly what someone else wants, you don't in effect really have a personality for yourself. You're an empty vessel, a shell of what a human being should be. This makes you vulnerable to strong personalities outside the family unit. In a family where meekness is praised, how could a child ever think to stand up for themselves? Peter is rolled over with ease by bossy Bill. Take this time that Bill tries to use Peter as a seat.
I'm top dog. Hey? Bossy Bill? Thanks, Peter. These canteen seats are so hard, you know.
You're so very right.
Come here, you. Ow! No one uses my worm of a brother as a seat.
Thank God Henry was there to intervene and protect his brother. The same thing happens when rabid Rebecca physically abuses both Henry and Peter. Henry stands up for himself, calling the police on the monstrous Rebecca.
Hey, this is my hiding place.
We have an intruder in the house! Come quickly! An intruder!
When this fails, he then adeptly locks the abuser in the cupboard, ensuring the safety of him and his brother. What does Peter do? He stands up for himself too, right? Well, no. Peter instead lectures his brother that he's mistreating a guest.
Henry, maybe you should stop. It's not nice to scare others.
Peter is growing up in a toxic household too, make no mistake. He is fully deserving of our sympathy. This user writes, Henry being title character means his issues are more talked about, but Peter's issues are valid and should be mentioned more. Some people forget that Peter is a pressured golden child, a little goofy guy who likes rabbits and his friends. The pressure on Peter to be a perfect child will likely have devastating consequences for the youngster when he grows up. This user on Reddit says, I think it's bad parenting to endorse him to be that perfect all the time. I'm not saying the parents should turn him into some sort of bad boy, but they should have been frank with him that when he grows up, a lot of people are going to turn away from hanging around with a goody two-shoes attitude, and this will negatively impact him. Example, imagine working with someone like Peter, someone who will tattle if you spend 5 minutes extra on a break, or constantly boast, look boss, I did the paperwork 1 hour early. That makes everyone else look bad. Basically, the parents should have allowed him to cool his jets, and while celebrating his achievements, should have also been real with him. This user speculates that Henry grew up to defy the odds and became a world-renowned physicist. His parents, realizing how they had treated Henry so poorly, repeatedly got in contact with him and pretended as if their parenting had steered him on this path. Henry would always say, talk to Peter. He's the addict who needs your attention. Golden Child Syndrome. Not even once.
Part 8. Tumbling down the horrid Henry rabbit hole.
I know that we're quite far now into the video, but I still don't feel happy. There's a splinter in my mind, and there's a question that I just can't shake. And I now realise that it's seeped into the pore of everything I've ever done on Horrid Henry. How? Just how? How did the writers allow the parents to be this bad? The way that the parents treat Henry just isn't okay. It's cruel. A 5-year-old watching Horrid Henry could watch Silly Simon bollocking his son and think that's a normal way for parents to behave. If Henry's dad does it, then it's okay for my dad to do it to me too. Never mind that, as Peter Fonagy writes, words are humans' most powerful tools, and harsh language used against children can damage them for the rest of their life. Moreover, when a child that has experienced this grows up, they can suffer from low self-esteem, increased nicotine, alcohol, and substance use, increased risk of anxiety, depression, even psychotic disorders. Sometimes in books and movies, you have parents that are over-the-top bad, in a way that makes you sympathise with the child protagonist. Think Matilda. She's neglected and mistreated by her parents in such an obvious way that you can't help but be on the side of the protagonist. But Henry's parents are bad in a more normal, middle-class way that's actually quite insidious. They're normal enough to not seem like villains, especially to children. They're normal enough that when we watched a TV show when we were kids, we thought they seemed normal. The parents are the grown-ups. They're in the right, therefore, and of course Henry, the child, who's being told off, must logically be in the wrong. The clue's in the name, after all. Horrid Henry. He's horrid, whereas his parents are the sensible model citizens having to deal with their miscreant son. Why can't Henry be more like Peter? Why can't we all be more like Peter? Silly Simon and Fuming Francesca aren't bad in a humorous way either. Peter Griffin from Family Guy is far from perfect, but he's funny. He's a bad parent most of the time, but he's so bad that sometimes you can't help but laugh. But who even writes Horrid Henry? who is responsible for creating legitimately the worst parents in British television history? Who do we blame?
Part 9. Who actually writes Horrid Henry?
If you answered Francesca Simon, you're half right. She writes the books and the books alone. The TV series is based on her creation, but Simon herself had no involvement in the animated series. The mastermind behind the television series is actually a woman you've almost certainly never heard of, unless you're one of the very few people that have watched this video on YouTube. The person behind the Horrid Henry television series is a woman named Lucinda Whiteley. This information is quite hard to come by, but it is revealed in the BAFTA video about the Horrid Henry voice actors.
And quite often we change things while we're going along, with Lucinda's permission.
My name's Lucinda Whiteley, and I'm the series producer and also the writer. I've been writing for Horrid Henry since the very beginning.
So, who is she? What's her deal? Why hasn't anybody heard of her? Why did she make Henry's parents like this?
Part 10. This is why his parents are like this.
I think I know the answer to this. The clue lies in the Horrid Henry books written by Francesca Simon. You see, in the books, Henry really is a wretch. A newspaper article describes Book Henry as being an aggressive, selfish, and witless boy, not just mischievous, but bordering on psychopathic. But Lucinda Whiteley didn't like this Henry. Perhaps she thought the audiences couldn't connect to such a wretched child. Perhaps she thought that the real Henry wouldn't sell many DVDs. So she made a change. It's a very subtle change, but it did change the course of Horrid Henry history. Lucinda Whiteley made Henry nice. In the books, Henry isn't nice once. From the first page of the first Horrid Henry book, it says, Henry threw food, Henry grabbed, Henry pushed and shoved and pinched. Even his teddy bear Mr. Kill avoided him when possible. Francesca Simon herself said, I wouldn't like him as my child. No real children are like that. Now the Henry that's in the TV show ain't no angel. He calls his brother Worm.
You need less traction and more lift.
Get lost, Worm.
He attacks his brother.
Don't worry, Henry. I'm sure there will be cakes at Aunt Ruby's too.
But he's also likeable, like the time he comforts Perfect Peter.
Come on, Worm. It's not the end of the world.
Oh, but it is.
Something like this would never happen in the books. Francesca Simon herself said that if Henry were king, he would send Peter to prison where he would live on bread and water for a full year. Interestingly, even with the nice version of Henry, there was uproar in the UK about the negative impact of Horrid Henry's TV character on children. A BBC article describes how Emmerdale actor Adam Thomas asked, anybody else ban their kid from watching Horrid Henry, or is it just us? Hundreds wrote back, with many admitting that they had switched off the programme due to copycat behaviour or just because they were simply fed up of getting called a worm. Perhaps the focus of the uproar should have been on the normalisation of abusive parents present within the Horrid Henry animated series. Perhaps it's quite telling that the victim, Henry, was the one dogpiled by the media. Because, although Lucinda Whiteley changed the character of Henry, she didn't really change the character of the parents. She definitely didn't make them nicer. Anyway, if anything, she made them crueler than in the original Francesca Simon books. The devastating "You'll never be a rock star" Henry line is a product of the original television show. It's nowhere to be found in the books.
Rock stars don't do homework, Henry.
Cool. So, I don't have to do homework.
Henry, you are not a rock star, and you never will be. So the sooner you get that idea out of your head and get on with your homework, the better.
The parents in the books are strict and authoritarian, of course they are. But in a sense, they're at least somewhat justified. Like the time that Henry sells his brother as a slave to Moody Margaret. That deserves a Don't Be Horrid Henry at the very least. In the TV show, the parents will tell him off for something as trivial as Henry saying, "Good morning."
Morning, Henry. Morning.
Don't be horrid, Henry.
In the translation from book to TV series, the show became distorted, dark and twisted. Moreover, the animated series is littered with errors. There are countless entries detailing animation mistakes spotted by fans.
Yes! Margaret is our guest. If she wants to snoop,
then it's my duty to make it easier for her.
This, I'm afraid to say, is not indicative of a showrunner particularly interested in producing good quality television. Get it out, get it done seems to have been the mantra for Lucinda Whiteley, showing none of the care that Francesca Simon put into the original books. Just as Horrid Henry's dad has two faces, so does the Horrid Henry franchise. You have on the one hand Francesca Simon, the visionary creator whose vision brought joy to millions, versus on the other hand, Lucinda Whiteley, the pretender who subverted Simon's beloved character and turned it into a nightmare.
Part 11. What does Francesca Simon think of the TV series?
For Francesca Simon, I can imagine that seeing your baby, your creation being distorted in this way must actually be quite a traumatic experience. Horrid Henry is a character that she'd been crafting and honing for many years. To have it ripped from your hands and turned into something sinister and, in many cases, just poor quality can't be very nice. Indeed, we actually know for a fact that Francesca Simon is not a fan of the television series. When the spin-offs, the TV series and film adaptation, are mentioned in an interview, Francesca Simon is described as visibly shuddering. She explained that, "I'm more interested in books and the adaptations weren't faithful to the books. I'm not happy about it, but there is nothing that I could do." Even more traumatic for Francesca Simon must be the financial situation surrounding the television series. Despite the fact that the series has been broadcast in 44 countries, selling 1.5 million DVDs, Francesca Simon has not made a penny in royalties, nor for the computer games, the merchandising, or the movie. Nothing. She did receive a modest production fee each time that a series was made, but I'm guessing that this paled in comparison to the millions of pounds in royalties that she could have made from the series, from the computer games, from the merchandising, and from the movie. The Horrid Henry series is, after all, described as being CITV's most successful show ever. The Horrid Henry movie, written by Lucinda Whiteley by the way, was awful, but it did take $10 million at the box office. How did the creator of the actual Horrid Henry character not end up earning a penny in royalties from the television show or the movie? I mean, George Lucas got paid for Star Wars, didn't he? Surely the creator should be the one making the cash because, if not them, then who? Sadly, it is not particularly unusual for creators to not receive adequate payments for their work. The designer of the Daleks, a man called Raymond Cusick, was paid just £100, and they're a world-famous TV villain that are still used today. By the way, after tax, that amounted to £80, 10 shillings, and a sixpence for Mr. Cusick. This knowledge will not make it any easier for Francesca Simon. A newspaper article explains how Francesca Simon blamed her publisher Orion for failing to use a lawyer when drawing up a contract with Oxford-based production company Novel Entertainment. She explained, "I relied on Orion to negotiate with Novel. They did a poor deal. They did not use a lawyer. They assigned the worldwide rights forever with no reversion rights, for non-use for example. They allowed Novel to roll up the profits of one series into the production costs of the next, and to pay themselves whatever production and other fees they wanted without any limitations." Francesca Simon was to receive royalties from Novel Entertainment only if the Horrid Henry series made a profit, but according to Novel's accounting, bizarrely, Horrid Henry is still in loss. In an interview with Francesca Simon, in which she lists things that she wished she'd known before she became an author, number 9 was her most specific and her most painful. "Subsidiary rights are valuable. Don't give them away." Tragically, she elaborates that not understanding their proper value was the worst mistake I ever made.
Part 12. It's just a cartoon, yes, but it still matters.
Horrid Henry is an animated cartoon TV show aimed primarily at children. And me, I guess. Why on earth does it still matter? Why have I made this video? Simple. The normalization of abuse. That's why. Perhaps showing episodes of the Horrid Henry TV series each day to children has been doing more damage to their young minds than we originally thought. Take as an example how some people react when they see clips of Henry's parents being abusive. Completely surprised by just how many people react by saying, "Oh, my mum did that to me and I turned out okay. What's the issue?" Or, "It's no big deal, get over it." This is what the normalization of abuse does. It makes horrible situations feel normal and everyday to the point where you don't actually realize how unacceptable it is that you're being treated in that way. And then you're surprised when other people who haven't grown up in such a toxic environment call it out for what it is: abuse. The Horrid Henry animated series was written by super well-educated people. But it really feels like they got away with it with Horrid Henry. Lucinda Whiteley and the other writers involved made something fairly successful, I would agree with that, but we need to remember that it was based on the work of Francesca Simon, her original character, and moreover, it made abuse feel normal for kids across the globe.
Part 13. Where does Horrid Henry go from here?
Horrid Henry is a dead franchise. There are no new series on the horizon, no new video games, and certainly no movie. Dear God, one was enough. Given the love that fans have for the character and the dedication of the fan base, perhaps this may come as a surprise to people. To quote a certain politician, how can we make Horrid Henry great again? I'm living in a fantasy world here, but wouldn't it be great if they rebooted Horrid Henry? Animated or live action, I don't mind. Main thing is, get Francesca Simon involved. Showrunner. At the least, writer, and at the very least, consultant. Because, and we must remember this, without Francesca Simon, there would be no Horrid Henry. A Horrid Henry show done properly would be huge. Trust me, there's so much demand for it. This is a show with such an active fan base, and there hasn't even been any new episodes of Horrid Henry for 5 years. The potential is truly limitless. Let's honour the legacy of this amazing character that we all cherish from our childhoods, whilst also giving the writer and the creator of this character the lead showrunning role that she so richly deserves. Will it happen? Well, it's highly unlikely, but a man can dream, eh? Well, that was a wild ride. And we're only just getting started, by the way, in terms of spicy characters. Because, as it turns out, there are 2 characters even more disgusting than Horrid Henry's mum. We'll start with a PE teacher. I mean, we all know what PE teachers are like, don't we? If you don't, you'll find out in this video. This man makes Horrid Henry's mum look like Mother Teresa.
Alright then, tell me how you did it.
Who does Soggy Sid think he is, the Stasi? You're a PE teacher, mate. Get a grip.
Did what, sir?
Henry's innocent, by the way. Soggy Sid insanely thinks that Henry robbed a bank.
Escaped?
Escape from where, sir?
You know what I'm talking about, Henry.
Dude, he's like 8. What?
Mr. Soggington, a word, please.
Oh my God, he put up wanted posters of Henry? What the This is a sackable offence. Hashtag sack Soggy Sid.
Oh, yes, of course, Miss Oddbod. Stay there.
I think you've taken things a bit far, don't you, Mr. Soggington?
What the hell? He's plastered the photos around the school? Harassment much?
Maybe I have, but he is a very horrid boy.
Well, surely Miss Oddbob will have a talk with Soggy Sid. He may not get fired, but at least he'll never get away with treating Henry so terribly again.
Amazing. Every word of what you just said was wrong.
Come on, you horrible lot! Get a move on!
Thank you, kind sir.
How polite of him to say that. Horrid Henry? More like humble Henry. Quick reminder to hit subscribe if you're enjoying the video so far. Thank you.
What did you say?
Are you deaf, Soggy Sid? He spoke pretty damn clearly to me.
Did I stutter?
I said thank you, kind sir.
I want you to note this. He definitely does not mishear Henry. He knows Henry said the words, "Thank you, kind sir." Remember this as you watch his crazily insane over-the-top reaction.
Right, that's it, you horrid boy.
Blowing the whistle to make himself the centre of attention? Give me a break.
Detention!
What a little bitch. Sid Soggington is the only man in history to make Horrid Henry cry.
Now then, lad, there's no need for that sort of behaviour. I only told you can't run in the corridor.
Mr. Soggington, whatever is going on?
Well, look, he,
There. Better now? What is it, Henry? What's upset you so much?
There's blood on your hands, Soggington. There's blood on your hands. Conversely, Horrid Henry's mum does have her moments where she's nice. In Horrid Henry and the Perfect Plant, Henry has a nightmare and screams for his mum. She rushes over to him and makes sure that he's alright.
Henry, are you okay? Mom? Oh, you were having a bad dream. Yeah, I was. Oh, never mind. I've bought you a little present, Henry.
Henry's mum also believes that Henry can indeed be very thoughtful, like in the episode Horrid Henry and the Uber Homework.
Oh, I thought I'd put them out of the way, so if he wakes up again, he won't be worried about all the homework he hasn't done yet.
Sometimes, Henry.
Sometimes what, Mum?
Sometimes, Henry, you can be so...
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I can be so horrid.
I was going to say thoughtful.
As for Soggy Sid, he has hatred only for Henry in his veins.
Get changed now! Henry, swim! I said swim, not walk!
Get a grip, dude. You're teaching kids how to swim. You're not a bloody SS officer.
Yes! Eaten by sharks? If you don't get back in the pool and swim, I'll bite you myself! I mean it! Swim! Start swimming now!
Who do you think makes Henry's life more miserable? Fuming Francesca or Soggy Sid? Vote in the poll on my channel now. When considering the 5 most important virtues of a teacher, according to MA education student Hannah Smith, number 1 on the list is patience. You have to be able to remain calm when you are teaching.
This is all your fault! That perfume is toxic!
Number 2 on the list is fairness. Fairness for a teacher means treating the pupils equally. If you fail to do this, it could lead to suspicions of favoritism, which may land you in trouble.
It was my food. Henry!
Yes, Miss Oddboard?
Detention, Henry!
But Miss Oddboard!
Number 3, the big C, compassion. Compassion is caring for the misfortunes of others. So, for the teacher, this means they have to understand why some pupils do the things they do.
Of course, as you all know, the first subject of the day is homework. I'm assuming you haven't done any, Henry.
No, miss.
And what is your excuse this time?
Number 4, kindness, of course. Kindness for a teacher is to be friendly, approachable, and nice to the children.
I hope my daughter is teaching you properly. Mother!
Oh, yes, Mum, she does. Goodbye.
Oh, that lovely boy. He's so sweet. But Mother, he's the most horrid boy in my class.
Number 5, last but not least, tolerance. As a teacher, you must put up with a lot of things. Workload, behaviour issues, and colleagues who you may not get along with are all examples of things that you may have to tolerate.
Henry, what is the answer to my question?
I don't know.
That's it, Henry. I've had enough of your rudeness. Off to Miss Oddbod's office at once.
Yes, Miss Battleaxe.
Now, I may not know a thing about teaching, but I do know that Boudica Battleaxe is not a particularly good class teacher to Henry or his peers. Boudica Battleaxe picks on Henry throughout the series. She totally abuses her authority to single out Henry and make him feel awful.
Pay attention, Henry.
Why is Henry even singled out here? Like, every damn kid is messing around. Gorinda is doing her hair. Moody Margaret and Sour Susan are engaged in a full-on conversation. Lazy Linda is literally asleep.
Everyone may leave except Henry.
Look at how upset this makes Henry. He's not actually horrid. He's not one of those kids with no conscience. Henry really cares about what others think of him. That feeling of dread poor Henry must be experiencing. That sinking feeling in your stomach. We've all experienced that. Smash like if you know that feeling, and smash like if you hate that feeling. All of these horrible feelings. And he's done literally nothing wrong.
What have I done now?
It's not what you've done, Henry. It's what you're about to do. I need you to ask Mr. Soggington a question.
Can't you ask him yourself?
Oh, no, Henry, I can't.
Oh, all right then. What's the question?
The question is, what should I wear?
What should you wear?
He'll know what I mean.
So, he's not even in any trouble after all that. But why does the teacher make him think that he is? It's just cruel. The rest of this episode is totally whacked out, as Miss Battleaxe uses Henry as a messenger to set up a date for her with Soggy Sid, the PE teacher. Not that he looks best thrilled about it. Talk about an inappropriate way for a teacher to behave.
Miss?
Yes, Henry?
He said he'd see you there.
Where?
I don't know. The gym cupboard, I think.
The gym cupboard? Oh. The gym cupboard?
This is both inappropriate and horrifying on many different levels. Boudica Battleaxe is a bit of a dodgy character anyway. What's she up to here on her work computer?
Hello, Julie. Calling big sister.
Boudica, whatever are you doing?
Oh, I think I was trying to talk to someone.
Busted in 4K, Boudica. Boudica, however, does have her moments. She has a good sense of humour. I'm not going to deny that. It's quite funny how she puts Moody Margaret in her place.
Please, miss, Henry's talking.
Thank you, Margaret, and I'm sure it won't have escaped your attention that you are talking too. Nice one, Margaret. That was definitely doing something.
Please, miss, Ralph's talking too.
Thank you again, Margaret, and that's twice you've been talking now.
As we see in my Moody Margaret video, Moody Margaret walks all over Henry's parents, so it's actually quite nice to have somebody put her in her place. Furthermore, for all of the bad elements of Miss Battleaxe's teaching, she's at least 1,000,000 times better than the cover teacher that the school hires when she's absent. They hire Horrid Henry's babysitter, Rabid Rebecca. Yes, that's the same woman that physically abused both Henry and Peter in an earlier episode.
Oh, okay. If you don't like that, how about Tiddlywinks?
We're playing hide and seek. You both hide, and if I find you, you'll be wishing I hadn't.
She picks on Henry even worse than old Boudica does, but kudos to Henry for standing up for himself. Go on, son.
So, Henry, we meet again. Hello, Rebecca. I don't believe you've met Archie, my pet spider.
Ashton Primary School. You have a lot to answer for. Boudica Battleaxe is bad enough, but Rabid Rebecca? Unforgivable to hire her. If ever a school needed to be put into special measures, it's this one. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to hit that subscribe button for weekly uploads, and it's Snipe, Snap, out. In fact, Henry's mum actually has another side to herself. Abuse can never be condoned, of course. But it is interesting that she does show kindness and affection to Henry on occasion, which is more than can be said, by the way, for the character in the last video that we'll watch. Stay tuned for that. So, let's play our penultimate video, the two faces of Horrid Henry's mum. Mum's favourite 4 words in the world. Don't be horrid, Henry.
Don't be horrid, Henry.
She clearly wants Henry to stay calm and composed. No fiddling, no pushing, and absolutely no yelling. Hypocrite mode activated.
Why do you need such a gas guzzler anyway? Does it make you feel more powerful? Does it, hey?
In one episode, Henry's mum decides to cut back on electricity to save money.
No electricity means no electricity for anything.
And when she says anything, she means for anything. Even the fridge.
The milk's off!
Oh, we're not using the fridge anymore.
They are also happy for Henry to freeze to death.
Oh, the water's freezing!
We don't need hot water, Henry.
Anything to please their little sugar plum, Peter. Henry goes absolutely mental, and he's completely justified in doing so.
You are the worst parents in the world!
If my parents turned me into a medieval peasant for like no reason, well, I'd have a few choice words for them too. Smash subscribe if you would also yell at your parents for what they're doing to Henry. But wait, it gets better. To cure the boredom that she's imposed upon Henry, Mum suggests that the boys make toys out of scrap paper. Henry agrees and actually has fun making paper planes. So Mum immediately shuts it down.
Right, now let's take it all down to the recycling centre.
I knew it was too good to laugh.
A green lifestyle and saving the planet, that's all super important. Well, unless it's making Henry happy, in which case, drill baby drill. Even Dad, who is usually the lesser of two evils, isn't off the hook here. He plunges Henry back into the Dark Ages, literally.
From now on, we're going to go to bed when it gets dark.
Henry points out the ridiculousness of this no electricity lifestyle.
What? It's not even 5 o'clock!
Dad dismisses Henry's concerns out of hand.
The sooner you get used to our greener lifestyle, the better.
Wow! Stoner Simon, he sure checked out a long time ago, didn't he? He's totally under her thumb. This guy, he's just going to go along with whatever Fuming Francesca's schemes are, like, no matter how ridiculous they are. Smash that like button if you wish that Henry got better parents, because my God, he deserves them. Another time, Fuming Francesca accuses Henry of eating her tickly treats. Look at this totally humiliating self-righteous rant, which becomes even more pathetic when you realise that Henry's innocent and the cat is guilty.
How dare you try to blame an innocent cat for something you did, Henry? You're even more horrid than I thought.
She subsequently sends Henry to his room 3 times, breaking the record for an individual episode.
Go to your room. Go to your room right now, Henry. Oh. I'd go to your room, Henry, but right now, and stay there.
But Henry though, remember, Henry, he's big brain. Henry gets photographic evidence, and yes, it's pretty sad that he needs that. It's pretty sad his own mum won't just believe him, but he gets photographic evidence of Fluffy the cat, Peter's cat, eating the treats that Henry was supposedly eating. Just look at the horrific tone that Mum takes with Henry when it's time for them to have their showdown meeting.
Henry! Get down here right now!
Once the evidence is provided, Mum pretends her disgusting treatment of Henry never happened. No apology, no acknowledgement, nothing. Just a really bizarre rant about the cat.
I just don't know what we're going to do with that cat. She is so greedy. I can't believe she ate a whole packet of tickly treats.
The episode's moral is clear for all those watching. Don't falsely accuse someone based on reputation alone. Well, I say clear for everyone, it's not clear for one person in the world, and that's Horrid Henry's mum. What's even her name, anyway? Well, that's somewhat of a mystery. It's true that I call her Fuming Francesca. 1, because she's always angry, and 2, because it spells out the creator's name. Francesca for mum and Simon for dad, Put them together, Francesca Simon. Big brain! To clarify though, Fuming Francesca is not canon, just my personal theory. Here's a few more I like. Abusive Annabelle, Selfish Sakuna, Nagging Nancy, Child Hater Christine, Neglecting Nina, Favouring Fiona. Let me know in that comment section if you've got any more names for Horrid Henry's mum, I'd love to read them.
That carrot casserole was amazing, Henry and Peter's mom.
Well, thank you.
Mysterious Mum's golden child is Perfect Peter. But is he really so perfect? Take the time Peter admits to putting slugs in the chocolate box. Yet Mum, of course, still blames Henry.
Horrid, Henry. Simply horrid.
Why, thank you.
But, Mom, it was me.
Go to your room right now, Henry, and no television all day.
Peter's not perfect, he's just sneaky. And Mum's refusal to see beyond his act is just plain annoying. And yet, believe it or not, there's a human side to Fuming Francesca. We see this softer side in the deleted episode, Horrid Henry Groovy Grandma. Naturally, Henry's mum delivers a zinger early doors to put Henry in his place.
You don't always have to be cross.
And you don't always have to be horrid.
On a more somber note, we learn that Henry's grandma died when he was a baby. Francesca cries, clearly missing her dear mother. And then this is actually really sweet. Henry changes the topic to that of his fort to sort of change the subject and also to try and cheer up his mum, you know, to ease her of the emotional pain that she's clearly feeling in this moment.
Do you think she would have liked my fort? I think she would, Henry. She might even have been a member of the Purple Hand Gang.
But she's a girl.
I don't think she would have let that stop her.
Henry then kindly offers to play with his mum to make her feel better.
Maybe next time I go out to play, you could come with me. I can remind you how to do it.
I'd like that, Henry. In fact, I think I'd like that very much.
This is a rare moment of vulnerability that shows that Fuming Francesca, well, she's not completely evil. But, as the saying goes, one swallow does not a summer make. Because, and here's the thing, I'm not letting Horrid Henry's mum off the hook quite that easily. There's this quote I remember seeing on the internet a while ago, and it's always stayed with me. It's so powerful in many, many, many ways. Child abuse casts a shadow the length of a lifetime. Celebrating when a clown jokes for you will disappear is child abuse.
Now attempt to make this clever little boy disappear.
Bravo! Bravo! Oh, lovely.
Confiscating all your possessions when you accidentally spill some paint is child abuse.
What? That's all my stuff!
Henry, we've taken all your things away.
Sending you to your room in the afternoon without any dinner is child abuse.
What are you talking about, Mum?
Never mind, Henry. Go to your room.
Can I have my questionnaire back?
No! Go to your room now, Henry.
And what about tea?
You can have tea in the morning. Now go!
I give up.
Evil, 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 evil! It really shows the duality of Fuming Francesca. Now for the true, irredeemable villain of the Horrid Henry universe. A character who shows not a single positive character trait, not a single moment of affection, not a single nice word can be uttered about her character in any way. This is Rabid Rebecca, and the video is Horrid Henry's babysitter is a monster. Remember when Rabid Rebecca picked up Henry and Peter like they were garbage?
You can both go to bed right now.
Remember when Rabid Rebecca then proceeded to toss them onto the floor, leaving them a crumpled heap of tiny humanity?
We're playing hide and seek. You both hide, and if I find you, you'll be wishing I hadn't.
Remember when Rabid Rebecca then locked Henry in his bedroom, putting him in solitary confinement with access to neither food nor a toilet, leaving the boy a prisoner in his own home?
5! Don't even think of moving from that bed, or you'll be sorry you were born!
Remember when Rabid Rebecca, the responsible adult in the house charged with caring for both Henry and Peter, threatened to beat Henry to a bloody pulp?
Right, you little worm, I'm going to take you apart limb by limb!
Henry?
Remember when the very same Rabid Rebecca, the perpetrator of all of these crimes, then got hired as a teacher at Henry's school?
Thank you so much for coming in at such short notice.
Remember when Rabid Rebecca, in this hallowed role of responsibility and authority, then publicly threatened and humiliated Henry in front of his peers?
So, Henry, we meet again. Hello, Rebecca.
Remember when she singled him out because, well, just because? It's Rabid Rebecca. She's a monster and she needs no good reason.
And where do you think you're going? Go!
I remember, and you do too. So, by the way, so does Silly Simon. After all, it was Silly Simon who hired Rabid Rebecca in the first place. And he knew, by the way, he knew that Rebecca had a reputation for being abusive. Here's the evidence.
Please don't let Rebecca babysit! She's horrible!
She's not horrible, just strict.
So, I don't feel a jot of sympathy, not a single molecule of give a damn ability for Silly Simon when he himself gets scared by Rabid Rebecca. His wife, fuming Francesca, a lunatic in her own right, hires her as a makeshift hairdresser for Horrid Henry.
You remember Rebecca, don't you, Henry? She's training to be a hairdresser.
What?
So, why am I targeting Silly Simon here? I just want to say that I'm not going to be making any excuses for fuming Francesca, Horrid Henry's mum. In my opinion, fuming Francesca is deeply mentally unwell. First, she sent Henry to his room without any dinner on countless occasions, starving her own son for no reason at all. Second, she stole all of Henry's possessions from him because he did something as minor as spilling some paint. Finally, she even celebrated when she thought that Henry was going to permanently disappear at the hands of a rogue magician. Even Rude Ralph and Moody Margaret were shocked by that. Yes, fuming Francesca hiring Rabid Rebecca as a hairdresser for Horrid Henry, in my opinion, it fits into fuming Francesca's wider pattern of abuse. Francesca is a nightmare. There's really no more to be said about her. Simon, however, he's supposed to be better. He's meant to get Henry, to understand his eldest son. Given the absurd level of favoritism that the mother exhibits towards Peter, one would hope that Simon would have a soft spot for Henry. And yet, he allows his wife to hire Rabid Rebecca again and again and again.
I've done it! I've found a babysitter.
Who?
Rebecca.
Rebecca? Not Rabid Rebecca!
Despite hearing accounts of her abuse, despite knowing about her abuse, despite seeing the abuse firsthand, Simon even has the temerity to be scared of Rebecca himself. And yet, Simon has no qualms, he has no hesitation at all in allowing Rabid Rebecca to be alone with his own son. With a sharp pair of scissors, one may add. With a sharp pair of scissors. It's a haircut after all, it's gonna get bloody.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Shame on you, Silly Simon, and shame on you writers of Horrid Henry for allowing this true monster of a character to become a reality in the minds of young children across the world. Rabid Rebecca episodes are amongst the most popular Horrid Henry episodes uploaded to the Horrid Henry YouTube channel. Rebecca never faces any consequences for her heinous actions. Therefore, the hundreds of thousands of young kids that watch Rabid Rebecca do Rabid Rebecca things, they're gonna grow up thinking that that's normal. And it's not. It's not normal at all. There's a name for this. It's called the normalization of abuse. Rabid Rebecca is the monster living under your bed, except for Henry, this one's real. And Silly Simon, he doesn't give a damn. Every morning, I wake up like a lone tree in a storm, weighed down by the world's expectations. A trembling hand, a lone tear, a room fading into darkness. I sit in the center of the classroom under harsh lights and judgmental eyes.
If the resonant key of 1 is divided by 2, that will equal... Henry?
Yes, miss?
I feel like the one who's always singled out, as if every gaze is fixed only on me.
I notice you didn't have your hand up.
Yes, miss. I mean, no, miss.
Do you not think you should have had your hand up?
Yes, miss. I mean, no, miss. I mean, I didn't know the answer, so how could I put my hand up?
They see Horrid Henry, but no one sees Henry.
Ashton Primary expects every child to put their hand up when it is expected that they will put their hands up. Thank you. You can put them down now.
A whisper in my mind asks, Do you ever feel so alone that your heart cries out in silence?
What do you have to say for yourself, Henry? Detention, Henry!
For a moment, the bright classroom gives way to raw despair. I do the only thing I can. I run. The tears flow like a waterfall, with one thought only on my mind. What if no one ever really sees me? Monday. I told Mum what happened last week, but she just said I must have done something to deserve it and to stop being so horrid. I promised myself I'd stay out of trouble tomorrow so I don't get another detention. As I write this, my tummy aches with hunger. My lunch didn't fill me up at all. Mum made me carrot sandwiches because she says they're healthy, but I was still left starving all day.
Boys cannot survive on carrot sandwiches alone, especially when you don't eat them.
I hope Mum makes me dinner tonight. She only makes it for me when I'm good. I need to try to be good.
I'm hungry. What's for tea, Mum?
Nothing unless you pick up your bag and go and do your homework. But no buts, Henry.
Tuesday. Because of detention today, I didn't get to play with Ralph, and I missed him terribly. I love Ralph, but I hope he never finds out I keep a diary. He'd laugh at me. Some thoughts in my head are too heavy to share, so I write them down to feel safe. Whenever I feel overwhelmed at school, I just scream, since the words escape me.
You will stay here at break time and write out these lines.
Sitting in detention today, I made another promise. Be polite to everyone. I'll even try to be nice to Peter. Maybe then, no one will shout at me or call me horrid. Wednesday. This politeness idea isn't working. I got shouted at the moment I said hello to Peter, even though I meant well.
Morning, Henry.
Morning. Don't be horrid, Henry.
All I said was good morning. I think that deep down, Mum loves me, so I try not to let it hurt too much. But Dad says I have a bad reputation. I think that's the word. So maybe it'll take time for everyone to see I'm really nice. I'll keep trying though. Hopefully, I'll be appreciated more at school. Thursday. I thought I was doing the right thing when I said thank you to Mr. Soggington, but it only made more trouble.
Come on, you horrible lot! Get a move on!
Thank you, kind sir.
What did you say?
I was just trying to be polite.
I said thank you, kind sir.
I don't know why he felt so angry.
Right, that's it, you horrid boy. Detention!
Everyone just keeps saying I'm horrid, and now I feel I can't do anything right. Am I really that awful? I wish Mr. Soggington hadn't given me detention. At playtime, I usually run around to forget how hungry I feel, but today I sat for an hour with him and it felt like my stomach was twisting with pain. I just couldn't eat the beetroot sandwiches Mum made me. It just doesn't taste nice in my mouth.
So, how was your day at school today, Henry?
I pretended to eat the beetroot sandwiches, just like you told me to.
Good. Any homework?
I guess at least I'll get dinner when I get home. Friday. I guess I spoke too soon. Mum sent me to bed without any tea.
What about tea? You can have tea in the morning. Now go!
I give up.
Maybe it's because I got into trouble again today. I was so hungry that I just couldn't concentrate in class. I tried hard to focus on what Miss Battleaxe was saying, but everything blurred together.
Henry, what is the answer to my question?
I don't know.
I really racked my brains, but I just didn't know.
That's it, Henry. I've had enough of your rudeness. Off to Miss Osborne's office at once.
I don't like it when Miss Battleaxe shouts in my face. It makes me feel anxious.
Yes, Miss Battleaxe.
I felt so tired and so hungry that I just went.
And take this as evidence.
I just didn't have the energy to stand up for myself.
Yes, Miss Battleaxe.
At the end of the day, Miss Battleaxe gave me a questionnaire about my thoughts and feelings, but Mum took it from me.
Never mind, Henry. Go to your room.
Can I have my questionnaire back?
No! Go to your room now, Henry.
I wish I could have filled it in, to tell everyone how I truly feel, to tell them that I'm hungry. Maybe the school could help, if they knew. I guess now they'll never know. I'm sorry, but I just can't write anymore. I'm so hungry. I feel like I'm going to faint. The end of days. The stress never stops. All I can hear is, "Don't be horrid, Henry," echoing in my head again and again. I'm starving now, and there's a deep, dark pain like my stomach is slowly eating itself alive. Mum only shouts. Dad doesn't seem to care. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Darkness takes over, and everything turns black. Thank you for staying with me on this Horrid Henry marathon. Me and Lucky, we really appreciate you spending your time with us today. You're very special, you'll always be welcome here, you'll always be part of the Snipe Army. Type Snipe Army for life in the comments if you made it this far, because you are a proper legend. See you on the other side. Snipe, snap, out. See ya.